27-year-old Zahrie Walls passed away at the Black Yacht Weekend in Chicago over the weekend. So this is actually just developing and more is going to come. People are remembering, though, that she was one of Kenneka Jenkins' best friends. Now, I'm going to talk about Kenneka at the back end, but to me, the most important thing to remember first is that Zahrie Walls built her own self and was her own entity and powerhouse, being in the Chicago area, from doing hair. And on her post it says a celebrity stylist, so she was really good. So she has built a name for herself in Chicago outside of all this. So I'm going to go into detail about what ended up happening, but I want to clarify a few things, because sometimes when people look at these cases, they don't do any research. They repost and then go over a lot of things. I want to clarify as best as I can right now. This is still developing. Things may change, but the information that I'm getting from the actual news outlets and all of that kind of stuff to make it make more sense. I want to start by saying that. And if that changes after the fact, that's after the fact. Look, this video is being posted in June 22. People like to come in and say, that's not what happened, whatever. When I be posting stuff, after I do my research, I'm on top of it within 48 hours, sometimes 72. So anything could happen in or after that. Okay, so let's get into it. I want to talk about what the Black Yacht Weekend is first, because most people, or some people rather, don't really know what that is even about. So I'm going to actually be on their website. The Black Yacht Weekend is Chicago's floating festival of culture. That's what it's named as. Now, it launched in 2020 and became the place where the elite Black excellent people would go and have a great experience. And it would say experiences like the Yacht Week in Croatia, in Greece, our event creates an inclusive place for Black professionals. So it was like, look, there's nothing for us here in our area, so we're gonna make something for ourselves in our area. So people come from miles around. I actually even had a family member myself, or family actually, to be there this weekend. So it is a big thing. You're looking good. Folks have gotten money. They're renting boats. They say yachts, but a lot of the people are renting actually boats. They're not even yachts. Now, the way this is normally set up, you can bring your own boat or you can charter a boat. Now, on their site, they say that they don't necessarily always charter boats, because I was trying to figure out like how you even would get a boat. So you register, you get your ticket, because there are events for the Black Yacht Weekend that occur starting from Thursday all the way up into the weekend. People are probably still there now, being Sunday. And some people are probably on their way home if they're not leaving on Monday. They made clear that they do not arrange any rental. Now let's talk about who lost their lives. First of all, there were 10 people that were rescued over the weekend, okay? And unfortunately, the one person that had drowned as of right now is Zahrie Walls. Okay, but there were other people that needed to be rescued. As a matter of fact, on Friday, 3 family members were hospitalized after they were rescued in the West Beach in Indiana Dunes National Park. 2 people were reportedly in the lake near Jackson Park, and one of the people managed to get out. And an individual was pulled out of Lake Michigan, east of Navy Pier, a paddle boarder out of Porter Beach. So there were people falling in this water. Because first of all, guys, folks is having a good time. Sometimes you're drinking, well, a lot of times you're drinking, or you just playful and you got your bathing suits on, and you may not always want to have a life jacket and all of that. This is such a thing, especially in the Michigan water or Lake Michigan or whatever. This is such a thing where people are drowning and having lost their lives in the water, that one lady went to make a comment and they fried her. Listen to it.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you get on a boat today for Black Yacht Week, do not jump in no Lake Michigan. This is not Miami Beach, you heard me? This is Lake Michigan. Your ass gonna be at the bottom with SpongeBob taking a night at fucking Patrick House, you heard me? You're gonna be working at the Krusty fucking Krab because you're gonna be stuck down there. Do not play with no Lake Michigan. People die in that water all the time, you heard me? And if you're jumping from boat to boat, please be careful. If you think you drunk, tipsy, sit the fuck down. Don't jump from no boat to boat, you heard me? Jump from fucking couch to couch on your boat. If you can't swim and you're jumping from boat to boat, put on a life jacket.
So she did this message, and it's one of them cases of you may be mad at the messenger, but what she is saying, the essence of what she's saying is true. And she did this video before what happened with Zahrie. So this was not something that she did after that. She's saying, look, make sure that you are wearing a life jacket. And just in her way of saying what needed to be said, people went in and fried her. Why? What are you talking about? You're not even from Chicago. You from New Orleans and things like that. Okay, so now we have Zahrie, who ends up passing away. This part I want to take some time on. First of all, rest in peace, Zahrie Walls. And I want to be careful with this while also making sure that I stay true to who I am in all of this. I cover all of these kind of stories. I've been doing this ever since Naziah Harris been missing. I am a full-time novelist and filmmaker. I got films all over Tubi. Mother Monster, I Hustle Son 1 and 2, It's Never About the Game. I got a movie that's getting ready to drop now called Drunk Dre. I got over 100 books. I've been in the games for over 20 years. So I don't take these stories unless I feel like there's a message. I don't have to do these stories because I've been a successful filmmaker and storyteller for a long time. I'm saying that not to be bragging, but to preface what I'm about to say. Sometimes when we have an individual like the beautiful Zahrie Walls who passed away, people take it and they go the left and begin blaming her and her decisions because Zahrie did not have on a life jacket. And people believe that she had to have gotten up and fell into the water. Some indication that the boat was actually sinking. There's stuff all over the place. But she did not have on a life jacket, and so they would take it that way. What I want to caution people about, though, is number one, we want to make sure that we have the facts. Two, it's factual that she passed. Her life story can definitely help other people, in the future, and when her family's ready. I know they're not even thinking about that right now. My prayers are with the family. When her family's ready, I can see how this can even be a foundation in Zahrie's name in terms of teaching us how to swim. I know how to back float. I know how to doggy paddle, but in terms of outright swimming, I don't know how to do that either. And we need to have more essence to that. A lot of times, let's keep it 100. Folks don't want to wear life jackets because it's covering up the suit. You done did the work necessary to get yourself together. You look good. You look amazing like Zahrie did, or does rather. You look amazing, and you want to show your work and your efforts that you put in. But with these boats, specifically for this particular event, there are some people who are chartering boats who aren't experienced captains, meaning that now you fall in the water, they don't have the tools in order to be able to help you. There was also some things that was stated that people did not attempt to save Zahrie. Somebody actually jumped in the water. Listen, you can swim till you blue in the face. You're going to know how to swim and be really good at swimming. Most of us, though, however, we learn how to swim in even water, okay? People very rarely learn how to swim in waves unless you work on the beach and things like that. The majority of people who learn how to swim learn in settled waters. So even though we had a young lady who went in and tried to save her, you don't have the skills necessary to do that in wavy water. She could have also almost lost her life. Let's be clear. Somebody did attempt to save her. This person almost drowned themselves. You can know how to swim and still not be able to deal with this, or not know how to swim and then need to be taking precautions. So the blaming and things like that we need to be careful. So let me just talk about Kenneka Jenkins and why they are associating or connecting her name right now with Zahrie Walls, who I've already explained. Zahrie Walls is her own person. But let's talk a little bit about Kenneka Jenkins so we can see what the correlation and the connection is. Okay, so one of the reasons why they are linking Zahrie with Kenneka is for the evidence. They were best friends. As a matter of fact, when Zahrie passed away recently, and I hope I'm saying this baby's name right, but when Zahrie Walls passed away over the yacht weekend, Kenneka's mother did a video and basically trying to speak to Zahrie's mother to tell her she knows exactly what she's going through. She just feels for her, having gone through it herself. And I'm just going to play a little clip.
That actually who know who or what know what, but I'm telling you, this is my page, and you're more than welcome to reach out to me. My heart goes out to you for what happened to your baby.
So, as you can see on that clip, not only were Zahrie and Kenneka friends, based off of what Kenneka's mother is saying, they actually, Zahrie and some of the other friends that she knew, that Kenneka knew, stayed at this woman's house. So they were friends. She said she didn't really know the mother that much, hadn't really met her, but she still wanted to send that heartfelt message. So we know that they were really friends. Okay, so let's talk about what happened that night. And this thing had me in a chokehold. And if you were aware of it, it had you too. So Kenneka Jenkins was 19 years old. She was from Chicago, and she attended a late night private party at the Crown Plaza O'Hara Hotel in Rosemont, Illinois. And it was on between September 8th through the 9th of 2017. If I can find some of the footage, I'll put it up right here. We, the people who wanted to find out the mystery of what happened to her, like, we knew that she had passed, but there was a point where nobody even knew where she was. Like, it was that crazy. It was happening in real time. Videos was going up and all of that kind of stuff. So she's with her friends. She apparently is having a good time, and they're talking. She does appear like she's had some things to drink or what have you, but it's a young girl party. If you've young people party, you know, shoot, somebody the old folks party. I know I just came from one with my cousins and stuff. We do that all the time. So she's having a good time. And what made it bizarre is that people had so many theories on what happened. Some people believe that her friends tried to set her up. Some people believe that there was some guys that came along and they were involved. But the timeline says she was last seen on the security footage at 3:32 a.m. and she was wandering near the hotel basement kitchen. So she was in the hallways, and they're showing the video footage. She was in the hallways, and then she wandered into the kitchen. Her mother was alerted about her going missing around 4:00 a.m. Okay, that's when she was alerted. The police were involved later that morning because all of this is happening in real time. Her body was discovered by a hotel staff member midnight at around 12:30 a.m. on September 10th. Inside the walk-in freezer. Okay, now they end up doing the autopsy and things like that, and it became on record that it was an accidental hypothermia. Okay, the Cook County medical examiner said that there was no foul play. There are people to this day that do not want to hear that, and she just died from the hypothermia mixed with her being intoxicated. Okay, her blood alcohol level was 0.112. And she had a toporomate. Let me put the word up here. I'm a writer, but sometimes if I never heard a word, I'd just be all over the place. So it's a seizure migraine medication in her system. This is what she had. So you got the alcohol, you got the migraine medication that's in her system, and you got the fact that she's in a cold freezer. So how it occurred, so it appears that she was disoriented from having all of these in her system. She wandered into the freezer, was not able to make the exit, succumbed to the cold pressure, and that she passed away. Okay, now people were pissed. Nobody was really trying to hear any of that. A lot of people were saying there was a foul play involved, although there were no signs of trauma. Crucial footage was showing that she entered the freezer. We saw her walk over there. I analyzed this footage. I remember this time. This is before I even got into true crime. Again, I really started getting into it behind Isaiah Harris, which I'm all into right now, trying to make sure this baby get her justice. But even then, before I got delved into it, I was into this. Looking at shadows, did we see somebody go in behind her? It was that deep. Now, nothing else came to play. Although you go do your own research and go down that rabbit hole if you want to. There are videos all up of people who felt like they were closer to solving the case that was not based on what was shown. You go do your research and it's all there for you. However, for the public, they said this is how she passed. And there was an initial lawsuit. So in 2018, Jenkins' family filed a lawsuit for $50 million, accusing the hotel and its affiliates of negligence and failure to secure the freezer, property search, or review surveillance footage. So, y'all, she walked into the freezer. Like, it was, you don't think that people will, but where is the staff? And I never really got clarification on it. If you put it in the notes, it locked, preventing her to get out. It's so much. She may not have known how to lock it with the latches and stuff, like unlock it rather, because of the latches and all of that. But there was a final settlement in December 2023 of $10 million, and $3.7 million of that, I believe, was awarded to her mother, and the additional amounts to the relatives, and then there was $3.5 million for legal fees. So they were saying earlier reports mentioned that it was 6.4. Who cares in terms of that? Because that's not the most important part of it. Although they should pay, the most important part of it is that she passed away due to negligence. Okay, the media to this day is not feeling that. This is why Kenneka and Zahrie are being linked again now, because that case kept us up at night. Kenneka's case, and now we're having this case, and it's almost again a friend around this group. When you're dealing with things like this where people pass away and any kind of things like that, Zahrie's story can help other people. If you're on these boats, if you can't swim, babies, definitely put a life jacket on and make sure that you're with somebody who is able to help you in the event even the life jacket won't do or what have you. We can look at it like that. She does not have to go be passed away in vain. This is a very successful young lady who was getting in there, who's on top of it. And we should just be careful and remember that there is real people who are behind this and impacted by this.